Well, hello to all you pretty people out there. Jeffrey Michael here, and welcome to the first edition of Jeffrey Michael's Movie Reviews Extravaganza of 2018. Yes, that's right, it's a brand new year and brand new movies being released. And so, I will start off in this video by reviewing the movies that were released on January the 5th and 12th of 2018. The first movie that I will review from January the 5th is Insidious: The Last Key, rated PG-13. It stars Lin Shaye and was directed by Adam Robitel. Now, Insidious: The Last Key is the fourth film in the Insidious franchise. It's a series of horror films. It stars, the main character is Elise Rainier, who is played by Lin Shaye. She's an elderly woman. She can see and sense dead people and demons. Ooh. And in the first two films, she helped out the Lambert family, a battle against a red-faced demon. And the third Insidious film was a prequel. It showed how she started her whole business, meeting her assistants, Tucker and Specs, and how all of them banded together to form the Paranormal Exorcism company. Anyway. And so the fourth film takes place between the third and the first. Elise is suffering night terrors and dreams. She's dreaming about her childhood, which was not a happy one. As a little girl, she's confused as to why she's seeing all these, in flashbacks, how she's seeing all these dead people and hearing them too. And she also had an abusive father who was alcoholic and a mother who was submissive to it all. And, one day as a girl, she went to the basement and unlocked a mysterious door, and therefore unleashing a demon with keys for fingers, hence the last key. And this demon possessed her, and it also killed her mother and left her traumatized. And now as an old woman, she's experiencing all these dreams again, reliving her night terror again and again. And one day she gets a call. One of her customers is experiencing, spirits in his house, and she finds out that he's actually living in her childhood home. At first she's reluctant to go, but then she realizes, I have to do this. I have to confront my demons, both literally and figuratively, once and for all. I'm not going to make this review short, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it's about this franchise is really just, going nowhere now. I mean, this movie wasn't scary a bit. I mean, I kept waiting for something to happen, but it was just the same cheap scares we're used to by now in lame horror films. Also, I mean, you weren't sure whether you're supposed to laugh at certain points or whether they're intentionally funny or if it just, that wasn't supposed to be funny. Oh. Yeah, I mean, I was just overall disappointed, really bored too. So I'm just going to make this review short and say I give this a D+. I mean, the one thing that's stopping me from giving it a lower grade is Lin Shaye. I mean, she does her best. She's such a great actress, and she made a real flesh and blood character come to life in all these movies. But to be honest, I wouldn't recommend this one, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, this is one franchise I think should really be put to death. Anyway, moving on. All right, the first film that was released on January the 12th was The Commuter, rated PG-13. It stars Liam Neeson, Vera Farmiga, Patrick Wilson, and was directed by Jaume Collet-Serra, who brought you such films as Orphan, Nonstop, and The Shallows. Now, before we begin, can I just say, is anyone a little tired of seeing Liam Neeson do all these action films? I mean, ever since the first Taken movie, which was a good film, by the way, if I'm being honest, it's all he seems to do anymore, these action thriller movies. It's like, if that's what he wants, fine, but any way you could, do anything else, Liam? Anything? Anything at all? Anything? Anyway, if that's what he wants, that's fine. So the movie, Liam Neeson plays an insurance salesman named Michael, who's living in New York, and he commutes by train to work and home every day for the last 10 years. I mean, the beginning scenes, we see just how mundane that is, how he meets the same people every day, talks to them, and comes back. It's all very boring. And then one day, on his way home, back to home, he meets a woman he's never seen before on the train, a woman named Joanna, played by Vera Farmiga. After some initial small talk, like any strangers do, she then asks him about games, and then gives him a hypothetical. What if I told you there was someone on this train who doesn't belong, someone who's never been on the train before, and they have a bag, and there's something in this bag that doesn't belong either, and they're getting off the last stop, and if you can figure out who that person is before the last stop, you could get $25,000 and then $75,000 later when you finish. And he's intrigued, like, what? $100,000? I mean, he just lost his job, so any kind of money at this point is, But he's all wondering, so it's hypothetical, right? Sure, she says, and then she gets off the train. He's all wonders. So he goes right to the bathroom that she pointed out, and she finds the hidden sack of money with $25,000 in it. And he realizes, oh, it's real. So he's like, okay, so I just got to find this person then. But then after a while, he loses interest and thinks, no, this can't be real. Until he looks out the window of the train when he gets a phone call from Joanna saying, look at the street. Now look at that right corner of that street. And she sees one of the commuters that he knows gets pushed into traffic and killed right before his eyes. And he realizes, oh my God, shit just got serious here. This is all real. And she tells them, we're watching your wife and son, so you better complete this mission or else. Oh. And then from there, it gets all crazy. Now, let me start out by saying for the review, I'm not the biggest fan of Jaume Collet-Serra films. I mean, those 3 films I mentioned are all really flawed. I mean, they start off intriguing, but then they get ludicrous over time. And this movie is no exception. I mean, it's also, just like the movie with Downsizing over the holidays, this is a climb and dive film. I mean, the first half is very intriguing, very suspenseful. You know, you're climbing up that mountain, really up, and then you get to the halfway point of the movie, the peak. And then at that point, everything just starts getting more ridiculous and ludicrous, and you see this insurance salesman do death-defying things like jumping from train to train. It's like, come on, you're stretching plausibility here, movie. And at that point, you're diving, climb and dive. So the second half, you know, it goes all out, and then there's some like twists that happen. It's like, come on. I mean, you've gone past plausibility at this point. So overall, I would give this movie a C+. I mean, it starts off intriguingly, like any thriller, but then just really loses steam, no pun intended, you know, steam engine, about the second half, and the ending is just... Anyway, if you want to see this movie, you can go ahead if you like Liam Neeson films or action films, but I don't know if I'd recommend it, though. I mean, I think Liam Neeson really should have got off on the first stop here. So the next film from January the 12th I will review is Proud Mary, rated R. It stars Taraji P. Henson, Billy Brown, and Danny Glover, and was directed by Babak Najafi, who brought you the film London Has Fallen. Now, first of all, Taraji P. Henson, you might know her. She plays Cookie Lyon on the hit Fox show Empire. Good show, by the way. And in this movie, Taraji P. Henson plays Mary. She was a girl who, when she was a teen, she was a runaway, ran away from her abusive parents. And she was found by an organized crime family led by Danny Glover. And in the process, they turn her into a hitman, or hitwoman, trainer. And for years, it goes just fine, until one of her jobs goes wrong and she kills a man, and then she finds his son in the other room who doesn't even know what happened. And she's distraught by what she's done. And she, for the next year, she follows this boy who's now orphaned, you know, keeping a close watch on him. And he turns to drug dealing, and then one of his deals goes wrong one day, and he ends up unconscious in an alleyway. It's then that she decides she has to take action, and so she takes him back to her apartment. And from there, you know, she nurses him back to health, and she starts to care for him and maybe even love him, strangely enough. And for a while, she's been thinking about it, but now she knows she has to get out of being this hit woman for this crime family. And, you know, she wants to take the boy and leave town, but she finds out, you know, that when you're part of a crime family, that's not going to be easy. Let's just say a lot of shoot-'em-up action scenes are involved. Overall, this movie was okay. It was kind of average. I mean, Taraji P. Henson, she is a fantastic actress, by the way. I mean, she pretty much carries this movie almost all the way on her shoulders. But, you know, sometimes it's just not enough. I mean, the problem I had with this film was a little too clean, too sanitized, you know, not gritty or dark enough. I've seen movies like this before, you know, the professional hitman or woman who, you know, finds a child and brings them in and decides they want out and, you know, to take the child with them. And this, you know, plotline's been done before, and I think it's been done, you know, a lot more, you know, blood, a lot more grit, you know. I don't know. This was kind of a sanitized version of that story. Overall, I have to give it a C. I mean, I just thought it was too average of a movie, you know, of this caliber. And Taraji P. Henson, you know, she does her best with the material that she's given, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't recommend this one to you all. I mean, if you do, go ahead, but I can't. I mean, this is one script and film that Taraji P. Henson deserved better, and I think we do too. So, no go, everybody. So the last film from January the 12th I will review is Paddington 2, rated PG. It stars Ben Whishaw, Hugh Bonneville, Sally Hawkins, Julie Walters, and Hugh Grant, and was directed by Paul King, who brought you the first Paddington film. Now, Paddington 2, just like the first Paddington, is based on the Paddington Bear books by Michael Bond. Everyone knows Paddington Bear, right? He's that cute anthropomorphic bear, who wears a blue raincoat and a red hat. He comes from the darkest jungles of Peru to London to live with the Brown family and their housekeeper, Mrs. Bird. I mean, everyone knows how, the warm, fuzzy little bear, don't they? You should. Anyway, so the first Paddington film, was about Paddington, adjusting to his new home in London with the Brown family. And the sequel, he finds himself, being homesick a little for Peru, where his Aunt Lucy, another bear, is about to turn 100, in bear years, that is. And he wants to get her a great birthday present, so he goes to an antique shop, and he finds a pop-up book of London. One of Aunt Lucy's dreams was always to visit London, but since she's a little bit too old to travel now, he sees this pop-up book that shows all the cityscapes of London and thinks, this is the perfect gift for Aunt Lucy. And so he realizes, though it's a one-of-a-kind book, it's an antique shop, so it's going to cost a lot more money than even he has. So just like in the books, he decides to get a lot of jobs, and he's not very good at them. Like, bless his heart, he tries so hard, and he's got a big heart, but he fails a lot at these jobs. There's a lot of... But he, tries his hardest, and he manages to start making up all that money in the meantime, until one day he goes to the antique shop at night to see the book in the window, and he sees, there's a thief there, a burglar, and they steal the book, and they push him out of the way, and he tries to get the thief, but then, the thief gets away, and the police come in and find all this evidence that suggests, you did it, Paddington. What? No, it wasn't me. And so he's sent off to jail, and so the Brown family, Mrs. Bird, they have to work together to, find the real thief, and get Paddington to clear his name and get him out. And in the meantime, we find out that the thief is a faded actor named Phoenix Buchanan, played by Hugh Grant wonderfully. All the disguises that he has to wear throughout the movie. Overall, this movie, I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, was such a delight. I mean, it was wholesome, fun film for the whole family, I think. And whether you're the youngest child or like the oldest senior citizen, you will love this movie. I mean, it's not boring or it's not too juvenile for older people. It's just right. This is the rare kind of film that just puts a nice big smile on your face, and it stays there the whole time. I mean, you just can't help but smile watching this movie. I mean, Ben Whishaw is terrific as Paddington. He's this wonderful bear who's, well-mannered, and he's optimistic, and he has an insatiable love for marmalade. I mean, all these qualities just, makes everyone around him, just want to be better people too, and that's what the lesson taken from this whole movie. And all the actors do great in their parts, interacting with this, bear that's not there, and, digitally, I mean, he's added later. And Hugh Grant is just great as the thief. I mean, all the disguise he has to wear throughout the movie, I mean, it's funny. Overall, as you might guess already, I give this movie an A-. Yes, this is, in my opinion, the first great movie of 2018. So if you're looking for a movie this January, there's not too many good options, as you can already tell from this video. Then you should really get a chance to see this one. And even the first Paddington, see both of them, because Paul King, the director, has made a hint that he will probably be making a third Paddington film, so to complete the trilogy. So I definitely can't wait to see that one, and I know that you would like to see it too. I mean, if you love movies as much as Paddington loves his marmalade, then for sure, go and see this movie, definitely. Moving on. The very first recap of 2018, everybody! Insidious, The Last Key, D+. A boring, scare-free horror film in a franchise that should have been put to death already. I don't recommend this one at all. The Commuter, C+. Okay action thriller starring Liam Neeson that probably should have been derailed. You can see if you want to, but I don't recommend it. Proud Mary, C. So-so safe shoot-'em-up action film. Try to Chippy Henson deserve better, and so do we, really. I don't recommend this one. And finally, Paddington 2, A-. A cute, fun, wholesome film for the whole family. It'll leave you warm and fuzzy, just like Paddington Bear himself. The first best film of 2018. Everybody see this, please. And that'll do it for the first edition of Jeffrey Michael's Movie Reviews Extravaganza of 2018. Until next time, happy movie watching, everybody. See you next time.